everybody. Welcome to the Mandcave. It's the only podcast hosted by two best friends with nothing in common except their first names and their Boston accents. I'm Mandy Fabian. That's more Minnesota.
And I'm Mandy Kaplan. And each week we debate and argue over podcasts and books and music and accents. So grab a couch and let's get to it.
Wait a minute, cut this shit.
In the intro, you and I do it differently because you say the only thing we have in common is our first names. And I say name because it's one name.
Oh, well, I identify us as a they, them.
Okay.
That's actually the opposite.
I think I'm grammatically correct on this. So if anyone has an opinion, please reach out on Discord, mandcave.com/Discord, and let me know who is right grammatically, because I believe it is me.
It feels like it's names, though, because we are two separate human beings.
With one name.
No. You have a name and I have a name because there's last names, too. You know what I mean?
With nothing in common except our first name.
Well, except a name.
You could just say I'm right. It's okay. You could just say
I don't know. We're gonna have to take a survey on that. If I just said you were right, we wouldn't have a podcast.
It's true. I know. Okay, so speaking of being wrong, I have a disclaimer right at the top.
Great.
So we reviewed Seth Rogen's yearbook.
Yeah.
We both laughed a lot. We enjoyed it. I made a terrible false accusation against Seth Rogen. And I need to rectify that. I accused him of having children. And he does not.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And friend and fan of the show, Megan, said, he doesn't have kids, but you said, how can he still do drugs now that he has kids? And I had to look it up. And in fact, he does not have kids. I apologize, Seth Rogen, for accusing you of having children, of doing something so disgusting as having kids.
That was the worst part of the accusation, not the drugs part.
Right.
I know. The fact that, yeah. That actually seems much more on brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is definitely one of those guys that I'm like, really? Is he? That's something that he's interested in? And all the work he does. Who has time to raise kids when you're Seth Rogen?
Right. Well, and he seems like a man-child, and you don't want man-children raising real children. So there you go.
You don't want it. You don't want it, but yet it does happen.
Of course it does.
I don't remember. Are you, I've been, since I've been on the road, because I'm in Washington, D.C. right now, and I'm headed to Tampa.
Oh,
and I just came from Philadelphia. Yeah, I know. I got to go to Tampa, Florida, which, I think
is that another film festival?
It is. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a gay and lesbian film festival in Tampa, and they are all about queer joy, and I'm really excited about it.
I'm so surprised that's happening in a state where you can't say gay, but okay.
Well, this is the interesting thing. It's like there's this real disconnect, right? Like, we're all like, oh my God, Florida. They do all this terrible stuff that we hear about, but then you go to Florida and you're like, oh, these are pretty nice people. And we've got, it's the same thing in Texas. You know what I mean? Like,
Aunt Myrna's nice and that's it. And the rest of Florida sucks. No, of course there are wonderful people there. And of course there's a gay community there. And I'm glad there's a gay festival. Yes.
Yeah. There's like 3 different opera houses in Tampa. Of course. There's a thriving gay community. Yeah. So, but I'll report back and let you know how it is.
Please do.
'Cause I'm going to be real sweaty down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how's DC?
Good. Yeah. I've only been here for a minute. Yeah.
4 festivals on one trip?
Yes. No, 3.
Wow.
3. But
okay.
Yeah, but we had a festival in New York and we won Best Narrative Feature. So how do you like that?
Congratulations!
Thank you.
That's
really
so
fun.
Exciting.
It was also, if I'm being totally honest, it was very naughty of me because it wasn't naughty. I looked trying to be naughty. I was like, oh, they have awards. When they said, how did people get awards? It was like, well, you have to go online. You have to be in a virtual festival. And then you have to watch like 7 movies. And you have to, or a certain number of movies. I don't even know what the number was, but you had to watch a bunch of films. And then you voted. There were features, there were shorts, there were, but yes, to vote in a certain category, you had to watch a certain number of movies and stuff. Yeah, right. So you can't just go on and like vote for your friends.
Yeah.
And so of course I was like, oh, well, I can't, I can't just tell people to go on and vote for me. And I'm not going to, like I could tell people, I mean, I offered people to watch, but like, I was like, oh, well, I guess I won't get it because I can't get my friends to go vote for me.
Right.
But so I think this is legitimate. Like people who don't actually know me voted for my movie. That was very exciting.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, on the flip side of that, when I was on community auditions when I was 12 years old, the local talent show on TV, hosted by Dave Maynard.
A talent show on TV in Framingham?
In Massachusetts.
Ooh.
And you had to audition to get on, and then you got on, and they would do like 5 acts.
Yeah.
And everyone would call in their votes for the winner, and that winner would move on to the next week, and everybody else was dumped. And I was on with a tap dance group of like, I don't know, let's say 16 little toe tappers, ages
that's adorable.
8 to 15. How am I going to beat that with my family and friends calling in? They had 15 of them.
Oh, you weren't part of the tappers. What was your talent?
No.
What did you do? Were you singing?
I sang nothing from a chorus line, like a real pretentious idiot.
I love you so
my mom
much.
and I were just talking about it. I looked 35. I had heavy makeup, big bangs, skin tight sweater dress. We all know I was already like a large C cup when I was 12. So I looked ridiculous. But I sang the shit out of nothing from a chorus line. And afterwards I was like, well, there's no way I can win. There's so many of them. Those little tip-tap-toe tappers or whatever their name was. I couldn't win.
Little shits.
It was rigged.
It was rigged. I don't know. You'd have my vote. I love that how old were you?
Like 12.
I also would love to go back in time. This is when I wish I had a time machine. Love to go back in time and watch 12-year-old Mandy singing nothing. I'm feeling nothing because, you're 12. Like who feels anything when you're 12? I remember
I had lived.
I remember being 14 and having an I think I was around 14, maybe a tiny bit older, but having an acting coach, like doing a scene from like a Sam Shepard play.
Sure.
And I think it was all about like, honestly smelling pussy on his fingers or something. It was that play, that one. I'm like, I'm a kid and I'm like, I don't think I really understand this. Like I'm a virgin.
Right.
I don't understand jealousy and this is all real.
Yep.
This is real out there. I don't think I have the chops. So I'm proud of you that you had it when you were 12.
Oh, I had it.
Whew.
Dave Maynard thought so, but the greater Boston area did not believe so. They wanted to watch those little tap dancing brats move on.
I'd like to know which one of those little shits has a regular variety show that they produce and perform in, huh?
Right.
How many of them are making
a podcast? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How many of well, actually, probably a lot of them are podcasting. It feels like everybody has podcasts, but
well, speaking of podcasts,
yes. Hey, we listened to, or rather, I forced you to listen to. We changed it midstream.
Yes, we did. Yeah,
and I got to tell you, it's interesting. So we were going to listen to Modern Love. And I listened to this episode and it was like, boo-hoo, sadness and death and suicide. And I wasn't feeling it. So I was like, oh my God, does everybody want to talk about death? Let's switch it up. And then there was this new podcast that is from this guy from This American Life who I positively love. Oh my God. Do you know what's so weird about the Heavyweight is what it's called?
It's Jesus. Jonathan Goldstein, and it's not a new podcast. It's an old podcast. This is episode 51.
Right. Sorry. It was new to me. And it was new in terms of he used to be a regular on This American Life and then he got his own podcast. So I hadn't heard it. So it was like new to me.
Okay.
But I always loved him on This American Life. He was one of my favorites because he has such a wickedly dry sense of humor. Mm-hmm. And it's an episode called The Elliotts. And what he does is he solves people's problems. The whole premise of his show is people come to him with an issue or a dilemma and say, hey, Jonathan, can you fix this? Mm-hmm. And he does these deep dives into people's lives and kind of helps them solve problems. So I only listened to the one episode, The Elliotts, but the Elliotts are an Irish family who have had a curse put on them. These brothers who say that they have a curse and they're all suffering from these really, things that the curse said would be fallen on the heads of the Elliotts for years. Back in the 1500s is when the curse was hexed.
And this is an ancient curse.
It's an ancient curse. And it just opened up a world of really funny things. And I thought it was really interesting. And the reason that I was passionate about us talking about it is because this is an Irish Catholic family dealing with a curse. And they needed a Jewish person to break the curse for them. So in a way, I think this whole episode is you're going to be breaking some hexes for me from my family, in addition to other things.
Right. Well, so I like him too, and I have listened to a few of his heavyweight episodes.
Oh, good.
And they vary in tone from sincere, like, I'm going to mess up the details, but people will say, I know I bullied someone in my childhood, and I know it affected them deeply, and I would like to go make it up to them and apologize in a meaningful way. And he'll get all the players involved together and make that happen. So some of these things are more meaningful and, real heartfelt stuff. This was much more tongue-in-cheek because he doesn't really believe in the curse. The accents were delightful, but we're not going to do them. But everybody had an Irish accent.
Okay.
But so they read the curse, this ancient curse from 1516 or something, and they read it, and it was brilliant. It sounded like, I don't know if you'll get the reference of a Sophia Petrillo on the Golden Girls. She was always talking about, there's a curse on my family that the firstborn should suffer from toe fungus. And that's how detailed this curse was. It went on and on and on. And it was about, you'll suffer physically from your head to the soles of your feet. You won't be able to grow cabbage. It was so funny. And then Jonathan Goldstein said, this curse sounds like it was a children's book written by a serial killer. And it was he nailed it with that.
I curse you in your house. I curse you with a mouse. I curse you up the stairs. I curse you everywhere. It was totally, It went on for a good solid 3.5 minutes of just him reading the curse.
But he very smartly muted and talked over it and then brought it back. So we didn't have to hear the whole curse, but it was detailed about, this is what will happen to your fingertips. This is what will happen to your knuckles. This is what, it was in depth.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you enjoyed that. Yeah. And the boys, these 3 brothers, find out about it at a family wedding because they're all experiencing troubles, right? This one brother is trying to get funding for his PhD thing, but that's never going to happen because they've just had bad luck. One brother got robbed 3 times in 3 days. Mm-hmm. And another brother had been robbed 5 times. Mm-hmm. And they were just like, and then one guy really couldn't grow cabbage. And that's all he wanted.
I know. It was so funny. He had this thriving garden, but could not grow cabbage.
Cabbage was the one thing he couldn't grow. And by the way, I love that when Jonathan then asks him, like, well, what part of the curse, like, what are you trying to lift? How would your life benefit? And he's like, well, I know it sounds really silly, but I really love cabbage. I love it. I have all these ideas and
he makes cabbage wine.
He makes cabbage wine, yeah. So he's like, the cabbage thing has really been a bummer for me and my family. I need to be able to grow cabbage. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever felt cursed? Like, do you think you're cursed in any way?
That's a very good question. Yes. Mm-hmm. I think there are certain things that are like maybe familial curses. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that every time that one of us lies in our family, our voice goes way up like this. And that feels like somebody must have put a hex on us a long time ago.
My voice used to do that when I would wait tables, and the ruder or more awful the patrons were, the higher my voice would get. And I'd be like, well, yeah, let me just check with the kitchen on that. Oh, I'm sure we can make it work. Yep, I'll just see if the chef will substitute that for you. Like, I couldn't, because it was me being like, don't lash out, don't spit in their food. Yeah.
Did you ever spit in anyone's food?
I can lie like this. I mean, I can lie with a nice deep tone. No, I don't really lie. But no, I never spit in anyone's food. I never did anything like that.
No,
and it was only a few times, but I would notice it. I would just notice coming back over and being like, how's everything going over here? You guys good? You guys good? Because it was
okay,
like,
come on back anytime.
Yeah.
That's funny. How about you? Do you feel like there's a curse?
Completely and totally. And you've experienced it.
Oh.
You've witnessed it. And many times you've witnessed it. But I am generally cursed. It's called the Kaplan curse. Casey will tell you all about it.
Wait, did it start with you or is it a family thing?
I feel like my dad instilled in me that we just have shitty luck all the time, right? They'll say like free parking in the parking lot, and I'll pull in, and as I'm pulling in, the gate comes down and they're like, the parking lot's full. Sorry, no more free parking. This is my constant state of things just go wrong for me. Thankfully, and I'm being genuine, nothing major. I'm healthy. I have a beautiful life.
Yeah.
But if some little thing can go wrong, you'll say, oh, I called the number. I got through. I got the tickets. Why? And I'm like, I've been on hold for 7 hours. And then I got through, and then the call disconnected. And, I have... And the worst is at Six Flags. We've talked about Six Flags before. Casey and I will wait, and we'll get to the front of the line when they're like, we're closing this ride, sorry. Or we'll be driving there like, the only thing we care about is making sure we get to this ride. And they're like, no, that ride's closed for the day. And he's like, Mom, the Kaplan curse. It's just so real. It happens daily, everywhere I go.
Wow, that's really interesting. Are you going to put it up on a website? Like, is there a Kaplan clan that they do this in the podcast, that they have written the Elliott curse up on a website?
I know. No, it feels like it's just me at this point. So Casey believes in it so much that he's like, well, I'll go with Dad in that line because they're not going to be out of whatever we want in that line if I'm not with you, And I'm like, all right.
Oh my God, that is so interesting. I experienced that, but I don't blame it. I don't think it's a permanent curse, but I do believe in like, what's the thing? Mercury in retrograde.
Mm-hmm.
There are times, I feel like I go through these times when it's like, oh my God, every ticket purchase I make, like I have to shift the ticket things, and you can't, there's a loop on the website and the thing, right? Or you like just trying to call somebody back, and, you play phone tag for 3 days because they call you right as you're stepping onto the subway, or right as,
You call other people back?
You don't call me.
Yeah, I do call you.
Well, I've been traveling. I've been such a whirlwind, a mystery, as it were. But yeah, I do. I have a tendency to sort of lose track, though, when I'm alone. It gets really. I need other people. I need some structure.
Yes, we all do.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I don't think there's been, do you have superstitions in your family though? Like that you share as a family?
We believe in like the kiss of death. This all comes from my dad. Like you can't say, oh, of course we're going to win the game. You've witnessed that as well, right? I have punch you in the face if you say that. Like you have many times been like, what? You guys are up by 10 points. You're going to win. And it makes me crazy.
I know it makes you crazy also because I think it's happened once, if I remember correctly. And it's more than that. The one, I don't watch a lot of football with you because I finally was like, I'm not super into football. I kind of want to not go to a football watching party because it's just not, it doesn't really interest me. And also, by the way, all of the superstitions and stuff really make me uncomfortable. It does. It does, because you guys really do take it so seriously. Like I don't know if you like wear the same jersey or you have your pregame ritual or people can't say certain things or they're going to put a hex on the game or whatever. And I think it's really fun. I love that you have that. I love it when people have their own, whenever anybody has a routine or a little system that they do, I think it's so cool because, as I just stated, I'm like, every day is different. So I love it when people have that, but it makes me really nervous because and maybe this is my curse, I'm going to say the exact wrong thing. That's my talent. That is a curse that I actually do have. I swear to God, I will always say the exact wrong thing. Sometimes it's coming out of my mouth. It's not even my brain doing it. And as I'm saying it, I'm going, this is the exact wrong thing to say. And I can't think of a specific example right now, but also why would I embarrass myself?
I'm sure people who listen to our podcast can think of examples.
Oh, of course they can. I say it all the time. It just comes right out. Not even when I'm trying to be funny. Like sometimes I'm just trying to make normal conversation. And I say the one thing, like always, I'm always the one who's like, oh, you guys have kids? To the person who is just recently, once again, dealing with the fact that their last IVF didn't work and they've been desperate for kids and their marriage is on the rocks because they can't, like I will make lighthearted conversation that will absolutely point to someone's recent shame, heartbreak, tragedy.
And I thank you for it because it keeps me entertained. Me and my love of Schadenfreude.
God damn it.
I know. Well, back to this podcast. I mean, there isn't a ton to say except one woman is like, don't talk about it. Don't give it any air because that makes it worse and it just worries people. Yeah. Right? She's like the matriarch of the family or?
So, her name is Margaret Elliott. She is I think they actually call her the clan chief, right? Isn't she the...
Something like that.
Something like that. There's an actual title. And there are Elliotts all over the world. And they also have their local clan chiefs or people who, I guess, take care of the family business in that area all over the world, all over the United States. And in the beginning, when he calls her, she's like, oh my God, what fun. I don't really give much business to these things, but if you want me to, he's like, can you call an archbishop and get the curse lifted? And she's like, why not? And she's delighted and amused. And she goes, I don't give it much weight. But well, then he starts calling people all over the country and all over the world. And then when he tries to get in touch with her again, she is chilly.
Not having it at all.
No. And it's one of my favorite moments in the podcast because she is so shutting him down because now he's rifling everybody up. Now all the Elliotts are like, no, I have the best luck in the world. But what curse? What curse are you talking about? And so everybody's coming at her and I guess it's making people pretty unhappy. So she shuts him down. Right. And he plays a montage of the Margaret that he knew at the beginning of the podcast or the beginning of this, which is so funny. It's her being delighted and, thinking all this is so silly.
The thing is, it is all so silly. Yeah. And he's creating something out of nothing. The way they did in Who Shat at the Floor at My Wedding. Yes. Like creating an investigation where there's nothing. But he takes it quite far. He calls the Pope. Yeah. And he speaks to the Pope's office and he's trying to get an exorcism to get the curse lifted. And all of it feels so performative to me. There's nothing genuine there. And I guess had I never heard his more genuine episodes where he's like, I found the person you bullied and they do want to talk to you. And he's still funny, but he's really affected important change for some people and helped them heal from something. Wow. That this felt eye-rolly to me. You know, I'm like, what, really? You're calling the Pope, you're calling the offices of exorcism. It was too jokey. And it went on for like a year. And then I realized, well, he must be working on at least 5 or 6 of these at the same time. So he's like, today I'll make another call to the Pope's office and we'll record it. What the hell? It just felt so low stakes. Yeah. And maybe that would have been more amusing had I not heard the more meaningful episodes, which I just said. So
That's interesting. Okay. I kind of was shying away from meaningful things because, my God, they get sad really quick.
I know.
You know?
I know. And we're living in a heavy world and heavy times.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But no, I'm excited to actually hear those because I agree with you. It's like I listened to it again to sort of remember some of the details of it. And it's, frolicky kind of white noise as you're like, there's moments that make you laugh. Like when they say it's not like you can just call up the Pope. And then sure as shit, his next phone call is like, hello, Vatican. You're like,
right.
Apparently though, you can call the Pope. So it was like little jokes like that, but you're right. It's all just him marveling at this curse. There is a funny twist at the end, which is that the curse gets taken off of the website. And that just so happens to coincide with the brothers' luck changing. And they all have girlfriends and the guy's growing cabbage and the guy got his funding for his PhD. And they're all like, well, that must have been what it was,
Right. It was too cutesy. And he phrased it, somebody who is part of the curse, he called them violently bald. Which I thought was hilarious that, they couldn't grow hair. They were violently bald. And he has a Mo Rocca quality. Are you a Mo Rocca fan?
Like the country or
Mo Rocca?
I don't know Mo Rocca.
Oh, okay. He's a very smart, funny journalist. He used to do The Daily Show. He did a fantastic kids show on CBS about technology and innovation and inventors, and we used to watch it religiously. He's a very frequent Wait, Don't Tell Me host, and he's just very funny and self-deprecating and smart, and that's who Jonathan Goldstein reminds me of a lot. And in that way, he's completely winning. If you told me Jonathan Goldstein is doing, I would listen to This American Life if it's him. I'm a fan of his tone, his wording. Yeah. I don't think I was a fan of this topic.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense. Because he handles everything. He's interesting to listen to. But you're right, because he has this capacity to be able to go deeper and tell meaningful stories really kind of evenly. Like there's something I've heard him talk about really difficult stuff from his life on This American Life. Mm-hmm. So I can, the fact that he can do that so well, probably I get it, that would be more fulfilling.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so do you want to give it some man jobs?
Well, I would give Heavyweight the podcast for 4-star man jobs, but I would say this episode is skippable. I mean, unless you're just, real lighthearted, a couple of good chuckles, but this episode didn't do it for me, but Heavyweight in general, I like.
Had you listened to it before, or was this an all new thing for you?
Oh, no.
You were familiar with the podcast.
Yeah. A few years ago. Yeah.
So, okay.
But again, there are just pick and choose what topics interest you with this one. And I think you'll be happy. To follow some of these stories.
And if you want to hear some delightful accents, I mean, you could either hear them on this podcast, obviously, or you could go listen to that episode.
Obviously. Yeah. Is that Irish? Am I doing it? Right?
You are.
Oh, good.
You are.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
If you like Pina Morocco. That's what went through my head, by the way. When you said that name.
Oh, God. I'm sure he hears that all the time.
All the time. All right. Well, let's tell the people. Mandcave is a production of True Story FM, music by Ian Post, and engineering by the fabulous Pete Wright. And guys, if you want to leave us a review, we would really love it. You just go right there to Apple Podcasts. Talk to us. You can make suggestions. Hey, pretty soon, we're going to get to talk about our movie Guilty Pleasure that we had a reviewer ask us because, hey, the Writers Guild strike is over. SAG is still on strike, but the writer's strike is over. So we'll be able to talk about that pretty soon. And, leave us 5 stars and a review. And if you want to talk to us in other ways, you can also go to mandcave.com/Discord and join us in our chat. And we post funny things there. I left the Barry Manilow medley song there for your entertainment.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I did pictures of my downstairs bathroom.
So good.
Right? And if you want more of us, join us as a Fandy. Mandcave.com/Fandy gets you just more content. We do a pre-show, and that's how we keep the lights on. I always hear people say that, right? If you want
that's a good one,
us keep the lights on.
Yeah,
that's
those
how
lights
we do
are
this.
getting,
we are supported by our Fandies. So please, $5, join us. We need and appreciate your support. And lastly, you can get incredible merch at mancave.com/merch. Funny, topical, attractive tees and sweatshirts and mugs. And they're going to make great holiday gifts, and Make Jail Great Again is our bestseller right now. It's doing really well. So please join in supporting us in all of those ways.
And if you are looking for a holiday gift, being able to say you're giving somebody a funny, topical, attractive mug, there are not a lot of those. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, cool. I have a fun game for you, but you know what I have? I have like
chlamydia.
A few. Yes. Oh my God. How did you know?
Yeah. I can smell it.
Philadelphia text you? Let me tell you something. All joking aside, there is a pair. No, it's not chlamydia, but there is a pair of pants here that I forgot to launder that I currently have on. And the minute that I sat down, I was like, oh, I think I cleaned the apartment in these pants, and I think my hard work is coming back to me now. It's a real stencher over here. But anyway, soup in my pants. All right. I have a couple games for you. So you actually get to choose. This topic excited me a lot because I love curses and superstitions, and I believe in the secret and all that. Mm-hmm. So I was very excited to pick a game, but I want you to pick which game you want to play. So you can either learn what curse do you have.
Yeah.
Okay. But you kind of know that, so maybe that wouldn't be a good one for you. Like, you already know you have the Kaplan curse.
But all right, push me one way or the other.
All right, I think it's okay. All right. You can also test your knowledge on Friday the 13th and other strange superstitions, which is a really fun. Like, there's all these superstitions out there that you can see if you know them, which is fun. Or I have some materials with me because there's another place that I did a little research where you can actually cast a curse on someone. Or if you would like to lift a curse, I could help you do that. But I have the materials. They're ancient techniques that tried and true on this amazing website called Higgy Pop. And this is legit. These are witches that run this thing. So we could either cast a curse on someone. I have the bowl, and I have all of the ingredients I brought and all the things I brought to make a curse happen. And then all I have to do is seal it in a jar and put it in a cold place. And then you can unleash the curse whenever you want. Or we could probably lift a curse. So those are your three options: cast or lift a curse.
I'm not going to cast a curse. There is no one that, unless I could do it on Trump. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Could we cast a Trump curse?
Of course you could. Yeah.
Okay, let's try that.
Curse anybody.
Because then we would have proof, right, in a few weeks whether the curse worked.
Well, that's right. It is. I think it's like usually they say within 4 months. And you did the right thing because you need to find someone who is deserving of the curse.
Right.
Yeah. That's important. Otherwise, apparently the curse can come back to you and it would like double down on that Kaplan nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yes. Is it terrible if I want to curse a group of little female tap dancers from 1986?
You know what? I think you have to know the name.
Okay, let's stick with Trump. We'll stick with Trump.
You know what? I'm willing to sort of maybe in a parentheses.
I was going to say like the unindicted co-conspirators. Let's do that. Tip-tap-toers or whatever they were. Let's imply them in there, but let's make it about him.
Okay, I'm writing the name. And also there's several different curses. There's a preemptive strike curse, which I'm not sure what that is. There's a financial ruin curse, a twisted mind curse, ill fortune, heartbreak, revenge.
Getting his ass kicked and becoming someone's boyfriend in prison curse is what I want.
I like that. Let's call it because he already has the indictment curse, so we'll call it a incarceration curse.
There you go.
I like it. Okay, and I'm writing that down too, just because I'm fancy and I know how to spell incarceration.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, we've got that down. So the first thing that I need you to do is you have to witness this. Is this in fact Mandy Kaplan, the person and the thing that you? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
This is very powerful. Okay?
Yeah, I feel it.
Just gonna now. I don't have any proper incense. I'm supposed to cleanse the area.
Okay.
I didn't, but I'm traveling, so I don't have my
You said you
normal.
cleaned.
I did clean. Yes.
All right.
I don't know my normal witchy things, but I do have some deodorant. So I'm just gonna unscrew the lid of my deodorant, and
that is all ASMR.
Yeah, it's a roll-on.
Could you screw it on and unscrew it again a couple times?
Yeah. That's
that's such a good noise.
Are you liking that? I love that you're into ASMR. This is not something that...
You don't feel it when you that clicking?
Oh my God, how about the writing of his name on the paper? Did you get that?
I didn't because it's...
Okay.
That's pretty good though. It's pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Then, so the next thing, we cleanse the space. And then there's the next thing that I'm supposed to put in. These are the ingredients. Now, I also didn't have the ingredients, but I think I have something very, very close. Very close to it. So where are those ingredients? There is, this is a leaf from a tree. You're supposed to have something from nature. And so I'm going to have a leaf. And then I also have, in the place that I'm staying, there is a haunted tree out back.
Great.
Well, I think, and it drops these acorns. And when these acorns drop, it sounds like gunfire.
Yes.
So it's a really...
I've nearly been hit by stuff like that on my walks. And I'm like, that would kill me if it fell on my head. Yeah.
It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Because you're like, oh, acorns, cute, squirrels. No, these are every time I'm like, Jesus. So this is the perfect bomb droppy also part of it. This is actually one of the ingredients. We have some chili powder. See, there's organic crushed red chili. I'm thinking, so as we're doing this, right, we want him to want someone to make it his bitch, right? So this is an acorn a nut? Maybe he'll meet some nuts in prison, or is it it's a seed?
Well, let's hope it's like a big Italian guy because you're putting red chili in there.
Okay, great. Let's plant the seed in the mind of the Italian guy that he's going to do some, teach Mr. He Who Shall Not Be Named a lesson. Okay. And then also you're supposed to put poison in there. Now I'm staying with a really nice person, so I didn't find poison exactly, but here's some Pepsid AC. And I think some of the ingredients here are similar to it. Sure. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. Yeah. In there as well. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now.
More great noises. Yep.
Oh God, this is perfect for your ASMR thing. Okay. This shouldn't take long. This is already, we've put together this powerful concoction, but I do need you to speak 3 specific, they can either be, let me see, they're either hurts, right, that he has inflicted on you that you want revenge for, right? Or specific things that you want, like, I want your hair to fall out. I want your, like, this is a curse on the thing that they did in the podcast. Right. Yeah. The specific things that you want cursed.
I don't know how graphic I want to get, but I do want him, I want his butthole to be penetrated by many, many men in prison.
But not in a pleasurable way. Because that's important to clarify. There's a G-spot up there.
I want it to be aggressive and...
Okay.
And yes.
All right, great. Like a frat party, but no booze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has inflicted so much hate into this country.
Oh, yeah.
And his policies against brown people are so horrifying, and he's a bigot, and I want him to be surrounded by those people that he has hurt.
You're also tapping into something that's really important, because I think being disliked, like truly, there was not another person on the planet who ever liked him again. That would be really good. I think that would hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. Okay, is there one more? I could join in too.
Please.
Yeah,
we are creating this. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a you and me hex. This is not a you hex.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I like that. I think that a woman should be president and undo all of the hateful things that he did when he was president. Like, wouldn't that be great? Like if we just undid all of the work that he did, and then he actually did, this might actually happen in real life. We may not need the curse, but I like the fact that he's being accused of committing a lot of fraud and might lose a lot of his assets. I'd like for him to lose all of his assets. Yeah. So I curse your building.
And his disgusting kids, too. They have to lose everything, too.
Yes. That your family may lose their assets, that you no longer are capable of lying. I like that. Let's put a non-lying curse on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And may all those little bitches have their tap shoes burst into flip. Oh, no, we're doing.
No.
I'm sorry. We're doing Trump.
I would bet money that their parents are now Trump voters. So this is good. This is on brand. Yes.
Well, they were in Massachusetts. So let's say 2 out of 3 are still
there.
Liberal.
Might be okay.
All right. Let's lump them all in there and curse them all.
Yes. It's done. I'm going to wrap this up in some saran wrap and I'm going to put it in a cold place. And so 3 to 4 months. I mean,
there you
this
go.
is great.
You're welcome, America.
And by the way, maybe in a little bit, just because I'm feeling generous today, I could do a little work on the Kaplan curse. I want to ease this for you.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, I'm going to get you some good parking spots. That's the most I can promise, but I can guarantee you good parking. We're going to go see Chelsea Handler when she comes to LA.
Right. Yeah.
So you and I, sister, we are going to get you some good parking, Mojo. You watch. It's going to happen. All right. Great. Oh, so, and I think I already know what I'm doing for next week, right?
Yes. So they already premiered The Golden Bachelor, the first episode where all the ladies get out of the limo. And I can't wait to talk about it. And so you have to watch both episodes, please.
Okay.
Because there's one already on, and then the next one will be on Thursday. So when we record next week, we can discuss 2 gripping episodes of The Golden Bachelor.
I'm going to be in Tampa with my Aunt Myrna. So
perfect.
I cannot imagine a better podcast.
No, she'll love it. Right.
Than this one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, by the end of it, she'll probably have set up a date with him. Oh, no, he probably finds somebody. That's what the show's about, isn't it?
We'll see.
They all find somebody and get agents. All right, great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right. Love you.
I love you. I'll see you next week.